Stop acting like you own me, John. You don't get to tell me who I'll be with or where I'll go. Sofia's voice cut through the rooftop venue like a knife, loud enough that the violinist stopped mid-note. 50 guests froze, champagne glasses halfway to their lips. Someone's phone clattered onto a table. My wife, dressed in a green silk dress that cost $3,000 of my money, stood in the center of our anniversary party with another man's arm around her waist, her eyes blazing with champagne-fueled defiance. Laughter erupted. Nervous at first, then bolder. Dom, the man beside her, smirked like he'd won something. Sofia's friends exchanged glances, some shocked, others nodding like they'd seen this coming. My best friend Marcus grabbed my arm, whispering urgently, "John, don't do anything stupid." But I wasn't angry. That was the strange part. Standing there, backlit by the Seattle skyline, I felt something I hadn't felt in months: clarity. Because 3 weeks ago I'd found the messages. And 2 weeks ago I'd hired a lawyer. And 1 week ago, I'd moved 60% of our money into an account Sofia didn't know existed. I changed passwords, updated my will, documented everything. I'd already left. She just didn't know it yet. I picked up my whiskey glass, took one last sip, and set it down gently on the marble bar. The sound echoed in the silence. Then I looked at Sofia, really looked at her, and saw a woman I didn't recognize anymore. A stranger wearing my wife's face. I walked toward her slowly. Every step felt like shedding dead skin. Her smile flickered. Dom shifted his weight. The room held its breath. I stopped inches from her, close enough to smell her perfume, the one I'd bought her last Christmas. For a moment something passed between us. Maybe she saw it in my eyes. Maybe she realized too late that she'd miscalculated. "You're right," I said quietly, my voice calm as glass. "We're no longer together." Then I turned and walked toward the exit. No yelling. No scene. No explanation. Just gone. Behind me the room exploded into whispers. Someone said, "Oh my God." Another, "Did he just?" Sofia's voice suddenly panicked. "John, wait." I didn't stop. Didn't look back. The elevator doors closed on the sound of my wife realizing she'd just destroyed her entire life in front of everyone who mattered. And as I descended 50 floors, I pulled out my phone and texted my lawyer. "She did exactly what you said she would. Start the paperwork." Margaret replied instantly, "Already done. Welcome to your new life." I stared at that message as the elevator reached the ground floor, and for the first time in 7 years I smiled. Really smiled. Because Sofia thought I was broken. She thought I'd beg, plead, 'cause a scene. She had no idea that while she'd been planning her Dubai trip with her luxury car dealer, I'd been planning something far more devastating. A silent exit so complete, so surgical, that by the time she landed back in Seattle, every door she'd ever walked through would be locked forever. The party upstairs was still going. I could hear the bass thumping through the building's walls. But I was already gone. And in 3 days, when Sofia's credit card declined at a Dubai restaurant while she posed for Instagram photos with Dom, when she tried to access our joint account and found it empty, when she returned home to find the locks changed and her belongings in a storage unit paid through the end of the month, that's when she'd understand. You don't humiliate a quiet man and expect him to stay silent. You expect him to plan. Please, before I continue, kindly like, share and subscribe for more interesting videos. The morning after the party, I sat in my office reviewing blueprints, coffee steaming beside my laptop. My phone had been buzzing non-stop since midnight. 37 missed calls from Sofia. 62 text messages. I'd blocked her number at 2 a.m. My assistant Maya knocked softly. "Boss, you need to see this." She handed me her phone. TikTok was open, 2.4 million views and climbing. Someone had filmed the entire confrontation. The caption read, "Wife humiliates husband at anniversary party, his response is legendary crown." I watched myself walk away in silence. The comments were brutal. Bro didn't argue, didn't yell, just left. Absolute king behavior. "She's gonna regret this so bad." The way he said "we're no longer together," and dipped. I felt that. This man woke up and chose peace. Maya bit her lip. "It's everywhere. Twitter, Instagram, Reddit. You're trending." I set down her phone and returned to my blueprints. Good. Let it trend. Sofia's called 17 times this morning. Block her on the office line too. Maya hesitated. She also posted an Instagram story. You should probably. I don't care what she posts. But curiosity won. I opened Instagram on my laptop. Sofia's story showed her and Dom at some upscale brunch spot, mimosas and avocado toast perfectly arranged. The caption, Surrounded by real ones, green heart sparkles, #new chapter, #living my truth. The comments underneath were savage. Girl, read the room. Your husband just left you on camera and you're posting brunch pics? The audacity is unmatched. I closed the laptop. My phone rang. Margaret Chin, my attorney. John, the video's perfect evidence. Her behavior, the public humiliation, the other man. This makes everything easier. How much easier? She'll get nothing. The house is yours, purchased before marriage. Joint accounts, we've already transferred your portion. Credit cards in your name, canceled this morning. I'm filing papers today. I lean back in my chair. How long until she realizes? Oh, she already knows something's wrong. She tried accessing the joint account 20 minutes ago. A grim smile crossed my face. And? Denied. She called the bank. They informed her you closed it. What did she say? According to my contact there, she screamed for 4 minutes straight. I felt nothing. No satisfaction. No guilt. Just emptiness where love used to be. Margaret, she's leaving for Dubai in 2 days with him. Let her go. Don't say anything. When she comes back, I want her to walk into a life that doesn't exist anymore. Margaret paused. John, that's cold. She earned it. Across town, Sofia sat at an outdoor brunch table, her phone vibrating constantly. Angry texts from mutual friends. Her mother had called 6 times. Even her sister sent a message. What the hell did you do? Dom scrolled his phone, looking uncomfortable. Babe, people are really going in on you online. Sofia snatched his phone. The video had been shared across every platform. Her face burned as she read comment after comment, tearing her apart. Her friend Jenna leaned in, voice low. Sof, when's the last time you checked your bank account? What? Why would I? Sofia's voice trailed off. She opened her banking app. The joint account showed 0 balance. She refreshed. Still 0. Her hands started shaking. This is a mistake. There was $40,000 in there. Jenna exchanged a look with their other friend Marie. Sofia, maybe you should call John. I've been calling. He won't answer. She tried again. Straight to voicemail. She tried his office. I'm sorry, Mr. Wallace isn't taking calls from this number, Maya said politely before hanging up. Sofia's breath quickened. Dom put his hand on hers. He's just being dramatic. He'll calm down. But Sofia's stomach twisted. She'd seen something in John's eyes last night. Something she'd never seen before. Not anger. Not hurt. Finality. She pulled out her credit card to pay for brunch, hands trembling slightly. The waiter returned moments later, apologetic. Ma'am, this card was declined. Sofia's face flushed. That's impossible. Try again. Same result. She pulled out another card. Declined. A third. Declined. Dom had to pay. Sofia excused herself to the bathroom and called the credit card company. Mrs. Wallace, these accounts were closed this morning by the primary cardholder. Closed? By who? Mr. John Wallace. He's the primary on all 3 accounts. You were an authorized user. Sofia's legs weakened. She gripped the sink. He can't just, this is illegal. Ma'am, as the primary account holder, he has every right to close accounts in his name. Sofia hung up and stared at herself in the mirror. Her perfect makeup suddenly looked like a mask. For the first time, real fear crept in. She called her best friend Rachel, voice cracking. Rach, something's wrong. John's freezing me out. Rachel's voice was ice. You humiliated him in front of 50 people, Sofia. What did you expect? I was tipsy, I didn't mean. You brought another man to your anniversary party. Dom is just a friend. Does Dom know that? Does John know that? Sofia's throat tightened. This is insane. John wouldn't just abandon me. We've been together 7 years. Rachel sighed. Sof, I love you, but you need to hear this. You fucked up. Badly. And John's not the type to make empty threats. When he said you're no longer together, he meant it. But I can fix this. I'll apologize, You embarrassed him publicly. That video has millions of views. His colleagues, his clients, his mother have probably seen it. There's no apology big enough for that. Sofia ended the call and slid down the bathroom wall, mascara running. Her phone buzzed, a text from Dom. You good? You've been in there a while. She didn't respond. Instead, she pulled up John's Instagram. His last post was from 3 days ago, a photo of a building sketch with the caption, New Project. New Chapter. Had he known? Even then, had he already planned this? Sofia's hands shook as she typed a message. John, please? We need to talk. I'm sorry. I was stupid. Please just call me back. She hit send. The message turned blue. Then beneath it, read 2:47 p.m. He'd seen it. And he wasn't responding. Sofia's friend Jenna knocked on the bathroom door. Sof? You okay? Sofia stood, wiped her face and opened the door. I need to go home. Want me to come with you? No. I need to think. But as Sofia walked to her car, she made a decision. She'd go to Dubai with Dom like planned. Give John space to cool off. When she got back, she'd fix this. She had to. What Sofia didn't know was that while she was planning her escape, John was 3 steps ahead. The movers were already scheduled. The locks already changed. The divorce papers already drafted. By the time Sofia landed back in Seattle 5 days later, she wouldn't just be locked out of John's life. She'd be locked out of her own. 2 days later, Sofia and Dom boarded a flight to Dubai. Sofia posted a selfie from the first-class cabin. Sometimes you need to get away to find yourself. Airplane, sparkles, #new beginnings, #Dubai. The comments were merciless. Girl, you're running from consequences, not finding yourself. Your husband is a legend and you're on a trip with your side piece. Make it make sense. Sofia turned off comments and put her phone on airplane mode. For 5 days, she posted relentlessly: infinity pools, gold-dusted lattes, designer shopping bags, sunset yacht rides. Every post captioned with declarations of independence: living my truth, no regrets, best life. But privately she was unraveling. John never responded to any message. Her mother left a voicemail: Sofia Marie Wallace, you call me back right now and explain what I saw on the internet. Her father's message was worse, just 3 words. Deeply disappointed, Mija. On day 3, Sofia tried to buy a Cartier bracelet. Her card declined. Dom covered it with his card, but she saw the look on his face, annoyance barely masked by his smile. That night, alone in the hotel room while Dom was at the gym, Sofia tried logging into the joint savings account. Access denied. She tried the mortgage portal. Account closed. Her hands trembled as she called the bank. Mrs. Wallace, Mr. Wallace closed all joint accounts and removed your access on the day of your departure. That's not possible. That's our money. According to our records, Mr. Wallace was the primary account holder and sole contributor. You were a secondary user. He's within his legal rights. Sofia threw her phone across the room. It shattered against the wall. Dom found her 2 hours later, sitting on the balcony, crying silently. Hey, what's wrong? He took everything. The accounts, the cards, everything. Dom sat beside her, suddenly looking very tired. Look, Sof, maybe we should talk. Something in his tone made her stomach drop. Talk about what? This is getting complicated. The video, the attention, now this financial stuff. I didn't sign up for all this drama. Sofia stared at him. Drama? Dom, I left my husband for you. Whoa, hold on. You didn't leave him for me. We were just having fun. I never said I wanted anything serious. Sofia's world tilted. You said you loved me. You said I deserved better than John. I said a lot of things, babe. But come on, you're still married. This is messy. And honestly, I'm not trying to be caught up in some viral divorce situation. Sofia's voice dropped to a whisper. Are you breaking up with me? Right now? In Dubai. Dom stood, hands in pockets. I think we both need some space. I'm gonna change my flight. Head back early. He paused at the door. For what it's worth, I'm sorry. But you gotta figure your life out, Sofia. Then he was gone. Sofia sat on that balcony until sunrise, watching the city lights blur through tears. She'd lost her husband, her home, her financial security, and now the man she thought she'd chosen. She had nothing left. On the flight back to Seattle, Sofia's hands wouldn't stop shaking. She'd barely slept in 4 days. Her suitcase felt like it weighed 1,000 pounds. She kept replaying John's face at the party, that calm, almost peaceful expression when he'd said, "We're no longer together." She thought he was bluffing, posturing for the cameras. Now she knew better. The Uber from the airport pulled up to the house. Her house, the one with the blue door she'd picked out, the garden she'd planted tulips in, the porch where they'd had coffee every Sunday morning for 5 years. She climbed the steps, exhausted, and inserted her key. It didn't turn. Sofia frowned, tried again. Nothing. She jiggled it, pushed on the door. Nothing. Panic rising, she knocked. John. John, open up. Silence. She pounded harder. I know you're in there. He's not, dear. Sofia spun around. Mrs. Chin, their elderly neighbor, stood watering her roses. What? John hasn't been here in days. Movers came last Tuesday. Very efficient men. Took about 4 hours. Sofia's vision blurred. Movers? Mrs. Chin pulled a business card from her pocket, walked over and handed it to Sofia. They left this for you. Storage unit. Paid through the end of the month. Sofia stared at the card. Secure Store Storage Solutions. Unit 237. Mrs. Chen's voice softened just slightly. He also changed the locks, dear. Sofia's legs gave out. She collapsed on the porch steps, suitcase tumbling beside her. This can't be happening. Mrs. Chin returned to her roses. You made your choice at that party, dear. He made his. Sofia sat there for 20 minutes, numb, until her phone rang. Unknown number. Hello. Her voice was barely a whisper. Mrs. Wallace? This is Margaret Chin, attorney at law. I represent your husband in the dissolution of your marriage. We need to schedule a meeting to discuss the division of assets and finalization of divorce proceedings. Divorce? He's actually divorcing me? Margaret's voice was professional, unmoved. The papers were filed 6 days ago. You should have been served, but given you were out of the country, we'll arrange service now that you've returned. Are you available tomorrow at 10 a.m.? I don't have a lawyer. Then I suggest you retain one. Tomorrow 10 a.m. my office. The address will be texted to you. The line went dead. Sofia sat on the porch of the house she no longer had keys to, in a marriage that was already over, and finally understood. John hadn't lost control at the party. He'd taken it back. The next morning, Sofia sat across from Margaret Chin in a glass-walled office that screamed money and power. Sofia had slept in her car, showered at a gym, and borrowed $200 from an old college friend for a consultation with a cheap divorce lawyer who'd met her in the parking lot, looked over the preliminary papers and said, "You're screwed. Settle and move on." Now, facing Margaret's calm, calculated stare, Sofia felt like prey. Margaret slid a folder across the desk. This is straightforward, Mrs. Wallace. The house is in John's name, purchased 3 years before your marriage. No claim. The cars are leased under his business. No claim. The savings accounts were funded entirely by his income. No claim. Sofia's voice cracked. I lived there. I was his wife. You were a resident, not an owner. And Washington is a community property state, but only for assets acquired during marriage. John's business, his primary income source, predates your union. You're entitled to half of the increase in business value during the marriage, which our accountants have calculated at approximately $47,000. Sofia's eyes widened. 47,000? We had a life worth millions. Margaret remained unmoved. Correction, John had a life worth millions. You were a beneficiary of his generosity. She pulled out another document. We also have documentation of your affair with Dominic Ashford. Text messages, photographs, credit card statements showing hotel visits. In Washington, infidelity doesn't typically affect asset division, but it does affect spousal support. You won't be receiving any. Sofia's hands trembled. This is insane. This is consequences. I made a mistake. People make mistakes. Margaret leaned forward, voice dropping. You didn't make a mistake, Mrs. Wallace. You made a choice. You brought your affair partner to your anniversary party. You humiliated your husband publicly. You chose another man on camera. Those aren't mistakes. That's character. Sofia's lawyer, a sweaty man named Ron who smelled like cigarettes, cleared his throat. Miss Chin, surely we can negotiate. There's nothing to negotiate. Mrs. Wallace can accept the settlement, $47,000, her personal belongings and a clean break, or she can contest it in court, spend tens of thousands on legal fees and still lose. Her choice. Sofia stared at the papers, tears streaming. Where am I supposed to go? I don't have anywhere to live. Margaret's expression didn't change. You should have considered that before. She stood, meeting concluded. You have 72 hours to respond. After that, we proceed without your cooperation. Outside the building, Sofia stood on the sidewalk, numb. Ron lit a cigarette. Look, lady, I'll be straight with you. You got no case. That video went viral. Every judge in Seattle's probably seen it. You're the villain in this story. Take the 47 grand, sign the papers and rebuild. $47,000 won't even cover first and last month's rent in this city. Ron shrugged. Then maybe you shouldn't have blown up a marriage to a millionaire. He walked away, leaving Sofia standing alone. Her phone buzzed. A text from her mother, Your father and I need space. Don't call for a while. Another text, this one from Jenna. Sof, I love you but I can't be in the middle of this. Take care of yourself. One by one her friends were disappearing. Sofia pulled up Instagram. Her followers had dropped from 400K to 190K. Brands had stopped responding to her emails. The comments on her Dubai posts were brutal. How's homelessness treating you? Karma's beautiful, isn't it? You chose the wrong man, sis. Sofia deleted the app. That night, she checked into a motel off Highway 99, $49 a night, stained carpet, a TV that only got 3 channels. She lay on the bed, staring at the ceiling, and for the first time in her life, Sofia Wallace had absolutely nothing. No husband. No home. No money. No friends. Just consequences. 3 weeks crawled by like years. Sofia signed the divorce papers in a legal Zoom office, her hand shaking so badly she could barely write her name. $47,000 hit her account 2 days later. She found a studio apartment above a laundromat in Renton, 800 square feet, 1 window, neighbors who fought at 2 a.m. She got a job at a boutique in Bellevue, the same one where her card had declined. The irony wasn't lost on her manager, who'd seen the viral video. You're lucky I believe in second chances, the manager said. But you're starting at minimum wage. Sofia stood behind the register, helping women buy the kind of clothes she used to wear, and felt invisible. Her Instagram was a graveyard. She tried posting once, a photo of a sunset with new chapter sun, and the comments were so vicious she deleted it within an hour. One evening, curled up on her second-hand couch, Sofia scrolled through old photos. Her and John at their wedding. Their trip to Vancouver. Christmas morning, his smile genuine and warm. She zoomed in on his face and started crying, deep, ugly sobs that shook her whole body. She destroyed the best thing in her life for what? For Dom, who dumped her in a foreign country? For Instagram validation? For a fantasy that evaporated the second reality hit? She opened a text thread to John. No messages since Dubai. She typed, I'm sorry. For everything. I know it doesn't matter now, but I need you to know I'm sorry. Her finger hovered over send for 5 full minutes. Then she deleted it. What was the point? Sorry didn't undo humiliation. Sorry didn't rebuild trust. Sorry was just a word that made her feel better while doing nothing for him. She set down her phone and stared at the water-stained ceiling. This was her life now. This was what she'd chosen. Meanwhile, across the city, I sat in an upscale restaurant with Rachel, laughing at something she'd said about her students. She had paint on her sleeve from art class and spoke with her hands, eyes bright with passion for teaching. So then Timmy raises his hand and says, Miss Rachel, why do adults make everything so complicated? And I'm thinking, kid, you have no idea. I smiled. He's not wrong. Rachel's expression softened. Can I ask you something? About Sofia? I tensed slightly. Go ahead. Do you still love her? I considered the question carefully. I loved who I thought she was. The woman I married doesn't exist anymore. Maybe she never did. Do you hate her? No. I just don't feel anything. It's like she's a stranger who once lived in my house. Rachel reached across the table, took my hand. That's healthy, you know. Moving on. Is it? Sometimes I wonder if I'm just numb. You're not numb. You're healing. There's a difference. My phone buzzed, a text from my publisher. John, we need to talk about the audiobook rights. 3 companies are bidding. This is getting big. Rachel saw my face change. Good news? The book's doing better than expected. You deserve it. What you went through, how you handled it, people connect with that. I pocketed my phone. I didn't write it for fame. I wrote it because I needed to process what happened. And now it's helping other people process their pain too. That's powerful. Later, walking Rachel to her car, she stopped and turned to me. I know we're taking this slow and I respect that. But I need you to know, I'm not her. I won't hurt you like that. I looked at this woman, kind, genuine, completely opposite of Sofia, and felt something I hadn't felt in years. Oh, I know you're not, I said quietly. That's why I'm here. She kissed me softly, then drove away. I stood in the parking lot, Seattle skyline glittering above, and thought about the man I'd been a year ago, lost, betrayed, broken. He was gone. And I was better for it. 6 months after the divorce finalized, Sofia received a call from a literary agent named Linda Marks. Ms. Wallace, I've been following your story. I think there's a book here. A memoir about consequences, growth, redemption. Would you be interested? Sofia, folding clothes at the boutique, nearly dropped the phone. A book? About me? About your journey. The affair, the fallout, the rebuilding. It's a cautionary tale, yes, but also a story of accountability. Publishers are interested in authentic voices right now. I don't know if I can write about that. It's humiliating. Humiliation can be powerful if you own it. Think about it. Sofia hung up, hands shaking. Could she? Could she write about the worst thing she'd ever done and let the world judge her all over again? That night, she opened her laptop and started typing. I destroyed my marriage at an anniversary party. The words poured out. All of it. The affair. The justifications. The party. The aftermath. The consequences. She wrote for 6 hours straight, tears streaming, reliving every horrible moment. When she finished, she had 14,000 words of raw, painful truth. She sent it to Linda. 3 days later, Linda called back. Sofia, this is good. Really good. It's honest, vulnerable, and you're not making excuses. Small publishers will want this. I can get you a deal. 2 months later, Sofia signed a contract for $12,000 and 6 months to finish the manuscript. The Woman Who Lost Everything, published on a rainy October morning. Sales were modest, nothing compared to John's bestseller, but reviews were surprisingly kind. Brutally honest and surprisingly self-aware. A painful but necessary read about accountability. She doesn't ask for forgiveness, just understanding. That's rare. Sofia did 3 book signings. At the second one, in a small bookstore in Tacoma, a woman approached her afterward. I cheated on my husband last year, the woman whispered. Reading your book helped me understand what I put him through. Thank you. Sofia watched her leave and for the first time in a year felt something other than shame. Maybe this pain could mean something. Maybe she could help others avoid her mistakes. It wasn't redemption, but it was a start. 1 year after the party, I stood in that same bookstore in Seattle, looking out at faces that knew my story. The banner behind me proclaimed my triumph. The book tour was ending soon and I felt lighter than I had in years. After the signing, driving home, I passed Sofia's old favorite coffee shop. On impulse, I pulled over and went inside. Looked the same. Same barista, same music, same corner table where Sofia used to sit for hours editing photos. A young couple sat there now, laughing over lattes. I ordered coffee black and sat by the window. My phone buzzed. Rachel, dinner tomorrow? I'm making lasagna. I smiled and typed back, can't wait. Another text came through, this one from an unknown number. Against my better judgment, I opened it. John, I don't expect you to respond. I just wanted you to know I published a book about what happened. Not for money or attention. I needed to be accountable. I hope you're happy. You deserve to be. I stared at that message for a long time. Part of me wanted to respond. To say I'd moved on, that I was happy, that I forgave her. But forgiveness felt like a gift she hadn't earned. So I simply deleted the message, finished my coffee, and walked back to my car. Sofia was my past. Rachel was my present. And my future? That was mine to build. Some doors close forever. And that's okay. Across town, Sofia walked past John's architecture firm one last time. She didn't go in. Didn't call. Just stood there, hand pressed against the glass, whispering, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Then she turned and walked away. Inside, I stood at my drafting table, working on designs for a children's hospital, the biggest project of my career. I saw her reflection in the window. Saw her stand there. Saw her leave. And I returned to my work. Because some endings are final. And that's exactly how it should be.